My beloved child, there are things you have not yet seen, but I have seen them long ago. There are conversations you have not heard yet. I have heard every word. I do not reveal these things to stir fear in your heart, but to keep you within my arms before the snare has the chance to close around you. Some who once smiled with you, prayed with you, and held your hand in seasons of weakness, now carry within them the quiet seed of rebellion. They no longer walk in rhythm with you, for their hearts have chosen another path. I tell you this not to make you distrust everyone, but to teach you how to see with the eyes of the Spirit, not merely through emotion or memory. In every season of transition, darkness seeks a crack in the wall of faith. It rarely comes in a form easily recognized as an enemy. It arrives wearing a familiar face, speaking gentle words, cloaked in care, yet with motives far from what you imagine. That is why I come first to warn you that not everyone who walks beside you was sent by me. Some are placed to test your loyalty. Others come to expose the tender places in you that still need healing. And some only when they depart will you realize how their presence once muffled my voice. You have believed that kindness could transform every ill intent, but no love can heal a heart that chooses bitterness. It is that very choice that draws them away from the light. They begin to look at you not with affection but with envy. They cannot bear to see my grace resting upon you, for it mirrors their own emptiness. They forget that grace cannot be measured or seized. It can only be received through humility. Yet instead of humbling themselves, they let jealousy take root, and their inner light grows dim. I see your sorrow. You ask, Lord, why have those I love changed? You look upon familiar faces now distant, hear words that seem harmless, yet carry hidden thorns. You feel a quiet unease without knowing why. My child, that unease is my whisper within your soul, warning you. Whenever I lead you into a new season, I reveal what can no longer walk with you. I remove not because you are wrong, but because you are rising higher. Every elevation requires purification. Do not let compassion blind you. Love deeply but discern wisely. Trust but do not be naive. Keep your heart open but guard the treasures of your spirit from those who would not value them. For there are some who seek to know you only to use that knowledge as a weapon. They no longer listen to understand, but to collect. They do not care for your wounds. They study them to gain control. Yet do not fear. I am in the midst of this battle. As Micah 7:8 declares, though I fall, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light. And I, that light, am illuminating every step you take. Let me open your eyes to what you have avoided facing. Betrayal does not always strike openly. Sometimes it hides in silence, in the reluctant nod, in the smile that no longer shines. They do not leave at once, they leave from within. They share less, avoid your gaze, and weigh every word. You sense it yet. You silence your intuition, telling yourself it's only imagination. No, my child, that discernment is my warning planted in your heart. I do not let you sense without purpose. I speak through quietness. I warn through unrest. I interrupt through dreams, and I remind myself through ordinary conversations. When your peace fades within a relationship, do not ignore it. Pause and ask me. I will show you what human eyes cannot see. I know you once believed your love and faithfulness could melt hardened hearts, but you must learn that genuine love cannot force transformation. Only the Holy Spirit can change a heart. When someone resists that work, you cannot save them by your own strength. Entrust them to me. Do not cling to those I am removing, for everyone who departs plays a role in your refining. When you hold on, you delay the very protection I'm arranging for you. You are not losing, you are being preserved. You are not abandoned, you are being sheltered. What seems unexpected has been long prepared. Nothing happens beyond my knowledge. Every strange glance, every whispered rumor, every subtle shift is within my hands. I do not send you into this testing ground alone. I walk with you, watching, guiding you through. Do not respond with bitterness. Do not fight as they do. When they speak ill, remain silent in peace. When they doubt you, let me be your defense. When they seek to pull you down, let me raise you up. Your silence will become the stage upon which I act. Remember the story of Joseph, and you will understand. He was not destroyed by betrayal. He was shaped through it. Those who cast him into the pit were the very ones who carried him closer to the destiny I had ordained. They thought they had ended his dream, yet they fulfilled it instead. As Genesis 5:20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to save many lives." So it is for you, my child. The schemes against you will become the very instruments I use to open your new chapter. Do not fear exposure. Light never comes to shame, but to heal. When I bring truth to light, it is not punishment, but invitation, an urging for you to step out of danger. You are in a season of separation. This separation is not isolation, it is protection. Do not be alarmed when people depart. Know that I am clearing space for the new. You have prayed for clarity. This is how it arrives. Light always walks hand in hand with truth, and truth sometimes wounds, but through that pain, freedom is born. I see your tears, your confusion, as what once felt certain begins to tremble. But remember, you stand on rock, not on sand. Their betrayal cannot dismantle what I have built within you. I am teaching you to see with spiritual eyes, to hear with spiritual ears, to discern with a heart guided by my Spirit. Everything is shifting, but not to break you, to lift you into a higher realm of understanding, strength, and wisdom. And when you look back, you will see that this was never a season of loss, but of divine preparation. My beloved child, I do not let you walk in darkness. What is now being revealed is not meant to break you, but to open your eyes to the reality you were not yet ready to face. You think you are losing, but in truth you are being freed. Everything I allow to come to light carries a purpose, not to shame, but to help you discern what is true light and what is darkness disguised. For in this world, darkness rarely appears in its full blackness. It comes in a dim glow, in familiar faces, in flattering words. But I am the Lord of truth, and I will not allow deceit to endure beneath my gaze. I see how they whisper, how they plant subtle doubts into others' ears. They do not strike openly, but creep softly through conversations that seem harmless. They speak with concern, yet their aim is to diminish. They feign care, yet seek to sow confusion. They smile, but behind that smile lies calculation. You have felt it in your spirit, the heaviness after you leave a conversation, the confusion without a clear cause. That is my Spirit stirring within you, saying, "Do not ignore this. I am not warning you to frighten you, but to make you alert." You once believed that your purity alone could keep others honest, but light always unsettles the darkness. And when you carry my light, those who cannot bear it begin to tremble. When I expose truth, I do not do it with noise, but with sacred stillness. Quietly I show you signs, misplaced words, subtle inconsistencies. They do not realize it, but they are revealing themselves in every small act. Falsehood cannot stand long in light. It will collapse under its own weight. And I am using your silence to make what is hidden become visible. When you refuse to answer with bitterness, you stand in the place where I can act on your behalf. Do not rush to defend yourself. Do not strive to prove your innocence. For if you insist on justifying yourself, you rob me of the chance to prove my faithfulness. I will do it so openly that heaven and earth will bear witness. Every plan formed against you lies within my control. While they draft their schemes, I am charting your escape. While they conspire in secret, I am among them, hearing every word. While they prepare your downfall, I am preparing your elevation. No weapon forged against you shall prevail, Isaiah 5:4-17. They do not know that their own plans will become the evidence of my protection. As in the story of Esther, Haman built the gallows for another, yet was hanged upon it himself. So too do I still work, my child. My justice never arrives late. It comes precisely when your faith is ready to see it, not your fear. They think you are weak because you are silent. They think you are naive because you do not fight back. But they do not understand that I am training you in the art of discernment. Your silence is not defeat, it is preparation. When you hold your tongue, I speak. When you step back, I advance. When you release, I battle. And when you bow in prayer, I raise you up in authority. The enemy cannot comprehend that every tear you shed in secret becomes a prayer that echoes before my throne. I have heard them all, and I am already moving. I know that betrayal has shaken your trust. It has left you hollow, uncertain of who remains true. Yet I want you to understand I am reshaping your circle. I am cleansing the space around you of those who would harm your next season. I am removing the ones who cannot climb where you are going. Do not cling to those I am releasing. You cannot step into the future while holding hands with the past. Let me decide who stays and who leaves. When I remove someone, it is not to empty you, but to make room for what is real. Every vacancy I create becomes a vessel for new grace. Never forget, exposure is a sacred part of elevation. Before I lift you, I always clear the foundation. True glory cannot rest upon pretense. So when I shake things, it is to separate the false from the true. You may see trusted faces change, familiar voices turn cold. Do not be alarmed. Remember, I told you beforehand, I will not let you be taken by surprise, for I love you too much to stay silent. I have prepared your healing even before the wound appears. You are in a season where silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. I do not need you to react. I need you to remain at peace. When you stay in peace, I will fight. When you trust, I will act. When you surrender all to me, I will turn everything around in ways no one expects. Look back at the stories of old. Have I not always reversed the tide? Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, but I shut the lions' mouths. Jeremiah was cast into the pit, but I lifted him out and made his voice thunder stronger than before. Moses faced rebellion from his own people, yet I vindicated him by my power. My child, I have not changed. What I did for them, I will do for you. Do not fear the movement of the darkness around you. It only reveals that the light within you is growing brighter. Darkness never attacks where there is no light. It seeks to extinguish the fire you carry, but it will not succeed. I have placed a heavenly wall of fire around you. I have sent angels to stand on your right and your left. No plan can breach the boundaries I have set. Every lie will be confused. Every plot will crumble. Every enemy will expose themselves at my appointed time. And when they think they are pulling you down, they are only pushing you closer to my throne of grace. I do not reveal evil merely to warn you. I also unveil the good so you know whom to trust. I am sending new ones, pure-hearted, faithful, anointed with grace. They will come at the right time, not to replace, but to strengthen. You will not fight alone anymore. I am rebuilding your circle, not upon status, but upon truth. You will know them not by words, but by the peace in your spirit when they are near. For peace is my confirmation. When you meet those sent by me, your heart will rest, no anxiety, no calculation. That is the sign I give you. Trust it. Remember, I never leave you in the dark without a lamp. Though you stand amid rumors, misunderstandings, and double-minded faces, I remain your light. Psalm 2:7-1 declares, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Engrave that upon your heart. My light not only illuminates your path, but consumes every dark design around you. Do not fix your gaze on the traps, fix it on me. For what they are secretly building will become the very platform for your ascent. The snare they set will not capture you. It will collapse beneath their own feet. My beloved child, I know how heavy your heart feels. There are nights when you lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering how someone you once trusted could wound you so deeply. You replay every beautiful moment, every promise, every smile you believed was sincere. Now they lie before you like shards of glass cutting into your soul. But my child, I want you to know this: I did not permit this pain to torment you, but to transform you. I did not allow the loss to punish you, but to protect you. Whenever I take something away, it is never to leave you empty, but to make room for something purer, stronger, and more faithful. You are not abandoned. You are being surrounded by my divine wisdom and careful design. Betrayal may draw blood, but it cannot defile you. It touches only the human part of you. It cannot reach the soul I have sealed. When they turn away, I remain. When they curse you, I speak blessings. When they plot to make you fall, I turn it into a launching ground to lift you higher. I am teaching you the lesson of discernment, not through theory, but through experience. I know you prefer to learn in peace, but there are truths that can only be carved through pain. And when you emerge, you will understand that no one can steal the peace of a heart fully anchored in me. You have asked, Lord, why did you not stop it? But my child, if I had intervened too soon, you would never have known who was true and who was false. You would have continued to entrust sacred things to unworthy hands, building your future on the sand of deceit. Out of love, I had to let certain things collapse so you could see what foundation you truly stood on. Not every collapse is a tragedy. Sometimes it is my warning. I allow masks to fall, not to hurt you, but to free you from unseen chains. Every exposure is part of my protection. You are not being attacked, you are being purified. I have seen your tears. I have heard your sighs in the night, and I have not stood apart. I was right there in the silence of your room when you had no words left to pray, when you could only sit in quiet pain. My hand was on your shoulder. You did not see it, but I was there. You did not hear, but I was whispering deep into your soul. Do not be afraid. Psalm 34:19 says, "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all." My child, that promise still stands today. I do not promise to remove every trial, but I promise to walk with you through each one. Just as I stood in the fiery furnace with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I stand now in this fire with you. The fire is not here to burn you, but to set you free from invisible bonds. You are not being defeated, you are being refined. What you endure today will one day testify of my faithfulness. When others see you rise with a gentle spirit, after all you've faced, they will know you are mine. When you choose forgiveness, even when you have every reason to resent, they will see me in you. Forgiveness does not mean what they did was right. It means your soul refuses to stay imprisoned in the past. Let them go, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Forgiveness is the key that opens the door the enemy tried to seal. Once you open it, light will pour in, and I will step in to make all things new. Do not try to prove anything, my child. Do not let lies draw you into a battle I did not call you to fight. Let me fight for you. As Exodus 1:4 declares, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Your silence is a weapon far stronger than any argument. It gives me room to act. I will cause every false word to vanish like mist under the morning sunday. I will bring truth to light in its appointed time. You do not need to react, only to remain pure. Purity is not weakness. It is the authority of one who knows they are defended by the Creator himself. Look at Joseph. He did not repay his brother's betrayal with bitterness, but with mercy. When he faced those who had sold him, he said, "God sent me ahead of you to preserve life." My child, the same is true for you. I allowed those people to act as they did, not because I could not stop them, but because I am positioning you within my divine plan. They thought they were pushing you out, but they were actually moving you closer to the center of my will. When they closed one door, I opened another far greater. When they severed ties, I connected you to those I had chosen. When they spoke against you, I turned even their words into testimony of your truth when the time came for vindication. Soon you will see I will lift you out of this storm, just as I delivered David from Saul's hand. Saul tried to destroy the one I had chosen, but in the end I myself revealed the truth before all people. I exalted David not because he fought back, but because he waited in humility. So will I exalt you. You do not need to defend yourself, I will be your defense. I will make it known who is true and who is false. And when all is revealed, your heart will no longer hold bitterness but gratitude. For you will see that without these wounds you would never have learned to depend on me so completely. Stand firm, my child. The storm will not last forever. When the winds cease, you will find I never left your side. You will see that through the fire you have been refined like gold. The parts of you that once depended on people will now be anchored in me. You will emerge not with the scars of disappointment, but with the radiance of wisdom. These trials did not come to destroy you, but to prepare you for higher ground. And I declare to you today, do not fear. Their schemes will fail. The traps they set will ensnare themselves. But you will rise stronger, calmer, and more radiant than ever before. I am still working in silence. I am sending my angels before you to clear the obstacles, silence the accuser, and make straight the path of blessing. The genuine will remain. The false will depart on their own. You do not need to drive them away, I will separate them. You do not need to expose them, I will bring everything to light in a way that protects you. And when you look back, you will see that everything was orchestrated perfectly by my hand. Every tear was a seed, every wound was a tool, every fall was a stepping stone. Every loss was a divine setup for the blessing to come. You are not the victim of betrayal, you are the one chosen to overcome it. You are not at the end, you are in the midst of transformation. I am rewriting your story not with human ink, but with the blood of redemption. Walk in peace, for I have said no one can snatch them out of my hand, John 10:28. You are in my hand, and these hands have never dropped anyone I love. My child, when the storm subsides, you may look around and see only fragments, broken relationships, dreams that seem dissolved, and trust that feels beyond repair. But my child, I will never let ruin be the end. What you think is lost is only being rearranged in my hands. I am the God of restoration, and where you see ashes, I see a new garden waiting to bloom. Nothing in your life is wasted, not a single tear, not a single prayer, not a single wound. I am weaving it all together into the perfect tapestry of a plan you cannot yet see. My beloved child, do not be afraid when the old is being dismantled. I am rebuilding. But this time, I am not building upon the shaky ground of emotion or misplaced trust, but upon the solid foundation of true faith. You once trusted people, now you will learn to trust me. You once clung to affection, now you will rest on my promises. You once followed the voices around you, now you will discern mine among the multitude. This is not the end, it is the process of reshaping. Like the potter, I am remolding the vessel that was broken, not to hide the cracks, but to let light shine through them. You will not be as you were before, you will be stronger, deeper, and wiser to discern what is real and what is false. I am doing a new thing, my child. Have I not declared? See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 4:3-19. I know that the process of restoration is not easy. Wounds take time to heal, and the soul needs stillness to recover. You are weary from trying, from being strong when all you wanted was to collapse. But remember this, I do not ask you to be strong on your own. I only ask that you allow me to touch the places you have closed off. I do not heal by covering up, but by reaching the root. You cannot heal while still holding on. You must let me enter the place of pain. I will not come with judgment, but with the tenderness of a father. Like a father kneeling to cleanse a child's wound, I will wash each place of your pain with the water of grace. You do not need to prove you are fine. You only need to be honest that you are hurting. For honesty is the beginning of healing. Sometimes you wish I would restore you quickly, instantly. But my child, true healing does not come in haste. It comes in the rhythm of my breath within you. Each day you awaken and still believe is a day of resurrection. Each prayer whispered through tears is another stone I lay upon the new foundation. Restoration is not about returning to what was. It is about becoming something greater. You will not go back to who you were, for the old has passed. You are being led into a new season one, where you will walk not with traces of fear, but with the fragrance of wisdom. And I promise you this, what I rebuild no one can tear down. What I touch no one can wound again. What I seal no power can steal away. Remember those I have restored. Joseph was forgotten in the prison, yet there I prepared him for the throne. David wandered in the wilderness, yet there he learned to rule with a shepherd's heart. Job lost everything, yet in the end he received double. They all experienced breaking before glory, not because I delighted in their pain, but because I knew that only through brokenness could their souls soften enough to be filled. You are walking that same path. Do not see sorrow as a sign of failure. It is the doorway to transformation. There is no resurrection without the cross, no dawn without the night. You still recall the words spoken by others, the wounds they caused. At times, those memories return like a wave that takes your breath away. But my child, I do not want you to keep staring at the wound. I want you to look at where I am leading you. When you revolve around the pain, you lose sight of what is growing from it. Let the past stay where it belongs. Let me renew your heart so that it beats not to the rhythm of pain, but to the rhythm of grace. All that you lost I will repay, not in the same form, but in deeper, holier ways. I will give you joy that cannot be taken, peace that cannot be disturbed, and love that does not flow from people but from me. My child, I am restoring you from the inside out, not just your circumstances, but your identity. You once let your wounds define you, but now I want you to remember you are not the product of betrayal. You are the masterpiece of grace. No one can rewrite your story but me. And your story is not over. It is simply turning to a new chapter one, where you no longer see yourself as a victim, but as one sent forth with divine purpose. Everything I allow carries a reason, and that reason always leads to glory. Romans 8:28 declares, "All things work together for good to those who love God." You are part of that all things. Even what makes you weep I am using to build strength within you. I will not only heal you, I will restore your honor. The lies that once dimmed your name I will erase with the light of truth. You do not need to defend yourself. I will do that. When the time comes, I will make those who doubted you acknowledge my presence in your life. You will not need to speak, for the blessing itself will speak for you. Others will see the peace on your face and know you have been touched by my hand. That is how I vindicate, not through argument, but through transformation, not through revenge, but through renewal. So let me continue my work for you. Do not rush. Do not panic when things seem unfinished. A young tree cannot bloom at once, but it is rooting deeply. The stillness you feel is not delay, it is foundation. Trust me, for I never begin what I will not complete. I have begun this work for you, and I will finish it in glory. You will no longer carry your wounds as marks of pain, but as witnesses of triumph. My beloved child, after long days of uncertainty, the light is returning. You are no longer in the shadow of fear or doubt. You have walked through the storm, and now your eyes begin to see what I could not show you before. My child, restoration is not merely comfort, it is a new way of seeing. When I heal the eyes of your soul, you will no longer view life as a victim of circumstance, but as one entrusted with purpose. The pain that once suffocated you will become the lens through which you perceive value. You will look back upon the places that once made you weep and say, I met you there, for it was in the ashes that I planted the seeds of wisdom. I am expanding your vision so that you see beyond the surface toward the horizon of where I am leading you. Nothing you have gone through is meaningless. Every wound taught you discernment. Every rejection taught you the worth of being chosen. Every betrayal taught you the depth of faithfulness. These lessons cannot be learned from books, only through experiences wrapped in grace. Now you will no longer see people as before. You will discern who is sent to strengthen, who is sent to test, and who appears only to teach you to let go. You will no longer react from emotion but from understanding. You will no longer chase noise but recognize my whisper in the stillness. My child, new vision is not born in haste but in quiet. It is in silence that you hear me most clearly. When I speak, it is not merely to comfort but to direct. You are entering a season where discernment will be your weapon. The enemy cannot strike one who sees it from afar. Therefore, I am sharpening your spiritual hearing so that you may know my voice from the falsehoods cloaked in righteousness. John 1:04 says, The sheep listen to his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. I am calling your name in the same way, leading you out of the fog. Do not fear if you find yourself more alone, for solitude in the light is far better than being surrounded in darkness. My child, when I widen your vision, I also open your path. Doors that once were shut will begin to move, not because you force them open, but because the time I have appointed has come. As you walk in discernment, you will no longer need to manufacture opportunities. Opportunities will come looking for you. Yet I want you to learn one crucial thing. Do not cling to form. Attend to my presence. True blessing does not come from what you do, but from being in the right place at the right time in the right position within my will. Everything you need to fulfill your assignment has already been prepared by me. You need only to walk according to the guidance of the Holy Spirit. I know there are moments when you doubt your own capacity. You think I've been wounded. Am I still worthy to be used? But my child, I do not seek the flawless. I seek the surrendered. It is precisely your wounds that make you useful, for they teach you compassion. A heart that has been broken is the vessel I delight to use, because it no longer leaks through pride but pours out through mercy. You will speak to the hurting what you once heard from me, and those words will carry power because they rise from the experience of true restoration. No one can comfort as deeply as the one I have comforted. No one can lift others as strongly as the one I have lifted. I am placing within you a new strategy. You will no longer fight as before with reactions and strain, but with awareness and stillness. I will teach you to see with the eyes of an eagle, not with the eyes of the wounded. The eagle does not panic in the storm. It rises above it to see the whole. In the same way, I am lifting you to behold the larger picture. From the altitude of wisdom, the schemes of earth will no longer make you tremble. You will know which battles to enter and which to place in my hands. I will show you how to act not by sheer effort, but with anointed wisdom. Do not forget that restoration is not only healing, it is empowerment. When I restore you, I do not return you to your old place. I bring you to a higher one. You will not only stand, you will help others to stand. I am making your soul a refuge for the wounded. I am setting fire in your words, fire that does not burn but warms. When you speak, hearts will be moved not by your voice, but because I am speaking through you. You do not need to impress. My presence within you will do that. And when they ask, how did you overcome it? You will point to me, and they will know that I am the living God. Keep your heart humble in all things. When I grant you new vision, I also desire your heart to remain tender. Power without kindness slips easily into pride. Remember that everything you have is from me, and every open door is given, so that you may reveal love, not prove your worth. I am calling you to be a bearer of light, not a seeker of light for yourself. Let the light within you lead others back to me, not to you. As you do, this blessing will pour out naturally like a stream that never runs dry. Now I want you to rewrite your vision. No longer a vision shaped by fear of loss, but by faith in what I am preparing. Look beyond the present. Imagine what I can do if you allow me to reign over every corner of your life. You will see that what was taken was only an old garment, while what I am about to clothe you with is a robe of glory. I do not merely restore, I also equip. Every recent trial has been training for you to walk in power. Like Moses, once a fugitive yet raised as a deliverer, like Gideon, once afraid yet formed into a warrior. So it is with you. I am preparing you for a stage where only those who have passed through fire can bear the bright light of glory. I am setting before you a great door. It is not merely an opportunity, it is a covenant. When you step through it, I will enlarge your sphere of influence, not to exalt you, but so that through you my name is lifted high. I will take you to places you never believed you were capable of going. But remember, the key to enter is not talent. It is surrender. My child, give me your plans, and I will give you heaven's strategy. Give me your fear, and I will exchange it for faith. Give me your tears, and I will turn them into the rain that germinates a harvest. My beloved child, as your soul is healed, I am preparing to lift you up. But true promotion does not begin with the applause of people. It begins in the quiet, where you are ready to say, Lord, not my will, but yours be done. When you reach that place of surrender, you are no longer driven by fear of failure or hunger for recognition. You walk more lightly, knowing you do not carry destiny alone. You simply follow, and I take care of the rest. True promotion does not come from striving, but from yielding. For when you humble yourself, I will lift you in ways no one else can. Do you remember Joseph? I did not exalt him on an easy day, but on the day that looked most like failure. While forgotten in prison, my plan was quietly at work. No one remembered him, but I did. And when the time came, in a single day, he went from prisoner to one who governed the land. That is how I act unexpectedly, precisely right on time. My child, I am preparing the same for you. Your hidden season has not been wasted. It is the time I used to lay the foundation. When the season of unveiling arrives, you will not merely appear, you will stand firm. For only what is built in the secret place can endure in the light of glory. I see how waiting has exhausted you. You have thought, I've been through enough. Why hasn't the breakthrough come? But my child, do not confuse delay with preparation. I have never forgotten a single promise. Every season of waiting carries meaning. When I make you wait, it is not because I am unready, but because you must be formed to carry what is coming. You cannot bear new influences with an old heart. You cannot step through a door of glory with hands still clinging to the old. So I have used time to teach you to release, to listen, to trust, when there is nothing left to grasp. And this has made you strong enough to stand in the place I am opening. Now I am breathing new life into your soul. That breath will revive what seemed dead. The dreams you buried will rise again. But this time you will not dream according to your will, but according to mine. I will plant within you visions beyond the limits you once imagined. I will cause you to see, as I see, to love, as I love, and to act according to heaven's design. What you once called failure will become the foundation of wisdom. Every slander spoken against you will become a mirror reflecting my glory. You do not need to wrestle with darkness, you need only to shine. For light never argues with darkness, it simply appears. My child, I will teach you to walk by heaven's strategy. This is no longer a season of reacting, but of intentional action. You will stop chasing the urgent and center yourself on the important. I will teach you to distinguish between the call and the noise. That difference will set you free. When I speak, you will recognize it at once. No more confusion, no more hesitation. And as you obey, everything will flow like a river of grace. For you will no longer labor to be loved, but work from love itself. You will no longer strive to prove yourself, but act because you know you are already chosen. My child, I know you still worry sometimes. What if I get hurt again? But my beloved, remember this. Once I have healed you, that wound is no longer a weakness. It is a testimony. Each time the enemy tries to touch that old place, it only touches where I have already touched. It no longer holds power. You do not need to fear what has passed. You are not who you used to be. You have been made new. I have placed upon you a robe of glory, and whoever reaches for you will have to encounter me first. Therefore walk with the confidence of one who has been anointed, not with arrogance, but with the quiet assurance that grace surrounds you like a shield. My child, I am opening for you a new space, not merely a workplace or a relationship, but a spiritual territory. There you will speak and hearts will be moved. You will pray, and what I have promised will come to pass. I am giving you a new voice not only to speak, but to shift atmospheres. When you declare what I have spoken, it will cause motion in the spirit realm, not because of your strength, but because your will and mine are aligned. You will learn that power is not in the volume of your words, but in the posture of surrender. When you speak from a heart in harmony with me, heaven responds. I do not bless you so that you may boast, but so that you may become a vessel. Grace flows most powerfully through those who know they are but a cup. I am calling you to be a carrier of life. Wherever you go, the air will change. Wherever you pray, light will come. Wherever you stand, peace will spread. You will no longer react to the world, you will shape it. For when you walk in my will, I walk with you. Every step you take is established within my eternal plan. Psalm 37:2-3 declares, the steps of a righteous person are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. My child, I delight in your steps. Remember, grace not only lifts, it sustains. When you are elevated, do not look down in pride, but look up in gratitude. What you have is not given to outshine others, but to help them rise. As I expand your influence, you will meet souls who hurt as you once did. Tell them about me not with theory, but with your own story. That story will become testimony, and that testimony will set others free. For true light is not given to be displayed, but to illuminate, and your light will draw many back to me. This is the season where I am restoring your laughter. It will not be the shallow laughter of old, but the deep laughter of one who knows victory came not through strength, but through grace. You will see my promises begin to sprout. You will look back and say, Lord, you truly did this. And I will smile knowing you are ready for the season of glory. No more hiding, no more fear of the light, no more covering of your scars. You will step out radiant, for my light rests upon you. As Isaiah 6:01 says, arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. My beloved child, when I have healed you from the wounds of betrayal, I will lead you into a deeper process, the process of fire. Do not fear this fire, for it does not come to destroy, but to refine. Many ask for anointing, yet forget that true oil flows only after the olive has been crushed. You have asked me to use you, to let you carry my glory, and this is the next step. Fire is not punishment, it is preparation. It burns away what is not of me, so that only what is pure remains strong enough to hold glory. Remember, this fire never comes apart from my presence. I do not send the fire and stand afar off. I am in the midst of it with you, as I was with the 3 young men in the furnace long ago. They were not burned, only their bonds were consumed. Likewise, the fire I send will not touch you, but the chains within you. You will see the old begin to shake habits, fears, limiting thoughts, and things you once believed could never change. The fire will touch every corner of your soul. It will hurt, but it will not be in vain. I only burn away what blocks the radiance of my light in you. There are lessons only fire can teach. It teaches endurance when no one stands beside you. It teaches worship amid ashes. It teaches trust in the night. When all else collapses, the fire reveals what is truly within. Real strength is not born in calm, but forged in trial. I do not send you through the flame to prove yourself, but so you may discover how strong you are with me. Every spark comes not to threaten, but to illuminate. And as the flames rise, I whisper, my child, I am here shaping you according to my will. I know you will ask, Lord, why more fire? Haven't I lost enough? But my beloved, this fire is different. It comes not to take, but to empower. It is the fire of anointing. When my holy breath moves upon the ashes, oil is poured out, and that flame becomes a light for the world around you. Do not run from it. Let it consume every falsehood, every impure motive, every old fear. I do not want you to carry my glory with a heart still stained by residue. I need you to clean so the oil may dwell. For oil does not rest on stone, it seeps into soft flesh. Thus I must soften your heart through fire. When I begin this work, I do not try to understand everything. Fire is not meant to be analyzed, but yielded to. You cannot control the flame. You can only trust that I control it. When the heat rises, do not be afraid. When others do not understand, you do not rush to explain. Be still and remain in the flame, for in that moment I am pouring more oil, not to burn you brighter in pain, but to shine you brighter on purpose. My fire never comes to destroy, but to purify. It consumes the limits you built unknowingly around yourself. It expands the capacity of your soul so that you may carry more grace, more wisdom, more love. I will teach you how to live in fire without being consumed, like the burning bush in the wilderness that blazed but was not destroyed. You will become like that one who carries fire but is not burned by it. The world will look at you in wonder and say, how does that one still stand? And the answer will not be your strength, but my presence within you. They will see my light reflected in your eyes, hear my voice through your words, and feel my breath in your peace. Then they will know you are no longer who you were. You have been anointed to become the flame. Anointing is not a title, it is a responsibility. It does not come to make you famous, but to make you useful. Those who carry the oil must learn to keep the oil, to guard the flame within, and refuse to let the winds of this world blow it out. When I pour the oil, I also teach you discipline. I will train you to be quiet in the noise, faithful when no one is watching, and humble even when honored. For oil cannot remain in a proud heart. It flows only on low ground. If you want to keep the flame, you must live in the posture of the humbled. As Psalm 5:117 says, the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. It is in that tenderness that my fire will burn without end. Do not forget that fire and oil always travel together. Oil makes the fire endure. Fire releases the fragrance of the oil. When you are anointed, the flame in you will hold a strange attraction. People will come not because of you, but because of me in you. They will be warmed, illumined, and revived. Yet be watchful, for light also draws what does not belong to it. The enemy will try to drain your oil through fatigue, distraction, and doubt. Therefore, I will teach you a crucial lesson. To keep the oil is to keep intimacy with me. If you remain near me, the flame will never die. If you drift, the oil will dry and the fire will fade, not because I abandon you, but because you have forgotten to pour in the oil of my presence. I do not want your flame to blaze for a season and then go out. I want it to become a light that never fades, a fire passed from your life to the next, a spiritual inheritance proving that someone dared to let the Holy Spirit refine them to the end. And as you walk among people, do not fear when they cannot understand the fire in you. No one grasps the heat of a furnace they've never entered. Keep burning, keep shining, keep loving. Do not argue, simply continue to blaze. For that flame itself is my evidence that you have been chosen, purified, and sent. My child, this fire will not exhaust you. It will enliven you, It will not burn away hope, but burn away fear. It will not consume your dreams, but consume your limits. And from that fire, the anointing oil will begin to flow. When you pray, I will answer more swiftly. When you speak, the atmosphere will change. When you walk, your footsteps will leave a trail of light. For you are no longer a person of the shadows. You are a person of fire, and the world needs the light you carry. My beloved child, the fire I place within you is not meant to burn only in moments of prayer. It is given to guide you through every ordinary step. That flame is a living presence, my spirit dwelling in you, teaching you what to do in the stream of daily life. It is not a passing feeling, but the steady heartbeat of a soul made one with me. As you listen, you will discover that fire does more than burn it, whispers it, guides it, illumines it, distinguishes between true and false light and dark, what comes from me and what comes from the world. When I say, "The Lord my God lights my darkness," Psalm 1:8-8, I am speaking of this very flame, the fire of wisdom and direction. I do not want you merely refined. I want you to become a bearer of fire. Those who bear fire do not live by impulse, but by revelation. They do not let circumstances dictate their steps. They let the Holy Spirit direct every decision. This is what I am teaching you, not to make you strangely otherworldly, but to help you walk the earth while belonging to heaven. When I place fire in you, I give you the capacity to hear, to understand, and to act by the Spirit. You will begin to notice that a glance, a tone of voice, a rise or quieting in your inner being, all become the language I am teaching you to read. This is how I speak with you through the fire that burns within. I know this is new to you, and at times you fear you might hear wrongly. Do not worry. When I am the source, I am also the surety. As long as you desire my voice above your own, I will not let you stray. Spiritual sensitivity is not formed in a day. It takes shape as you choose to walk in the fire day by day. When you do what is right, though, the easy path beckons. When you hold your peace in the storm, when you forgive, while you have reason to be angry in those moments, the fire in you grows. Fire does not burn brighter by emotion, but by obedience. So when I declare, "My fire shall burn in their hearts, and they will speak of me without ceasing," this is no mere metaphor, it is reality. My child, my fire brings not only power but discernment. In an age where truth and falsehood blend, only those with fire recognize the true voice. This flame will keep you from subtle snares. When someone speaks sweetly but their heart is false, you will feel a small sting in the fire within. That is your signal. When you step toward the wrong path, the flame will dim and you will feel dry. But when you stand in the place appointed for you, the flame will flare and your heart will rest in peace. Learn the language of this fire. It is the Holy Spirit in you. Do not chase signs outside. Attend to what burns inside. You ask, "How do I keep the fire burning?" The answer is nearness. Fire is not maintained by effort, but by communion. When you stay close to me, the flame rises of its own accord. When you drift, it wanes. So do not let busyness or fear pull you away from our secret time. Even in the press of work and crowds, a single whisper, "Lord, I am here," is enough to stir the flame. My presence is not confined to church or quiet rooms. I am as near as your breath. Each remembrance fans the fire. Each honest prayer pours fresh oil. This fire will also clothe your words with authority. When you speak from my presence, your words cease to be mere syllables. They become my instruments, carrying life, healing, and transformation. I will make your words like flaming arrows that touch the spirits of others, not to wound but to awaken. Do not underestimate the power of speech when you are in me. When you say, "Peace be still," true peace will come. When you pray for the broken, my fire in you will soften their hearts. It is not you, but I thought of you. My fire needs no publicity. It proves itself by its fruit. My child, I am not only teaching you to carry fire, I am teaching you to live as fire, to respond as fire responds not smothered by pressure, but spreading when challenged. Every adversity becomes fuel. When opposed, you will burn brighter. When misunderstood, you will pray deeper. When isolated, you will shine stronger. This is the nature of holy fire. It does not need to be protected. It needs to be revealed. I do not want you to live fearing the flame will go out. I want you to trust that I am the source that never runs dry. Look again at the apostles after Pentecost. Before they were frightened, hiding unsure. When tongues of fire descended, they were no longer who they had been. They spoke, and power broke forth. They touched, and the wounded were healed. They sang in prison, and the doors opened. This is not merely a miracle of the past. It is a pattern for the present. I still desire that fire to burn in my people today. I still desire you to speak, to pray, to live, and to move in that same flame. Do not fear being small. Your very smallness allows you to hold more. For in weakness my strength is made perfect. My child, when you live in the fire, I will begin to reveal your mission with greater clarity. No more haze, no more uncertainty. I will show you whom you are sent, to where you are placed, and what you are to say. The fire within you will attract the right people's souls who hunger for light. They will be drawn not by talent but by presence. There will also be those who cannot bear it, for light exposes darkness. Do not worry. I am protecting you. Let the fire do its work, drawing to you those who belong to me and pushing away what does not come from me. You do not need to decide whom to choose. I will choose for you. You need only keep the flame burning in the right direction. When I tell you that you will become a bearer of fire, it is not only for you, but for the generation after you. You are opening a way. The fire in you will be a guiding light for those who are lost. They will look at you and realize there is still hope, that there is a God who still acts, who still lives, who still loves. Each time you step into a barren place, I will cause living water to flow from your soul. Each time you enter a place of brokenness, I will let healing pour through your hands. For the fire and the oil in you are never for you. Alone, they are gifts I send to the world through you. The fire within you is not for you to be seen, but for others to see. Let me use you as a lamp in the night. Even if you cannot see the whole landscape, if you keep alight the portion entrusted to you, I will use that light to lead many homes. And when the journey ends, when you look back, you will see every sorrow, every trial, every moment you thought you would collapse. All of it was fuel for an ever-rising flame. My beloved child, when the fire has purified you and the oil has been poured out, I am about to unite the two within you, so the fire not only burns but endures, so the oil not only gives fragrance but spreads. This is the most sacred point of the journey. The union of fire and oil, the sign of power, of presence, and of an unbreakable communion between you and me. When fire and oil become one, you are no longer merely saved. You are sent. Know this: fire without oil dies quickly. Oil without fire sits still. But when the two meet, miracles happen. This is the image of the truly anointed one, who does not live by knowledge or emotion, but by the unceasing flow of the Holy Spirit. When you allow fire and oil to mingle, everything you do bears a heavenly imprint. You will not need to strive for influence. My presence in you will create it. When you speak, hearts will be moved. When you touch, what is dead will live. When you pray, the atmosphere will change. Not because you are powerful, but because you have allowed my power to move freely through you. In this very season, I will teach you how to steward the anointing. The oil is my presence, and it is holy. It cannot be used casually, nor can it be wielded to decorate the self. It is given to serve, not to showcase. As you walk in the anointing, remember you are not merely chosen in name, but entrusted in truth. Every action and every word now carries spiritual weight. You are no longer ordinary. You are a representative of my glory on the earth. When oil and fire meet, there will be moments when you feel pressure. Light draws both the thirsty and the oppositional. Do not tremble. Remember that I govern both the flame and the vessel. The enemy will try to exhaust you, to drain your oil, to weaken your fire. It will use small things, a criticism, a misunderstanding, a fear, to assault your mind. But hear me, do not fight back with anxiety. Fight back with nearness. Each time you return to me, more oil is poured. Each time you pray, the fire is fanned. Each time you worship in truth, my presence fills you again. Your strength does not lie in how much you do, but in how close you remain to me. Learn from my servants in Scripture. Elijah called fire from heaven, but he did so after repairing the altar, arranging the stones, cleansing the place, pouring water, and then calling on my name. So it is with you, my child. Each time you rebuild the altar in your heart, laying aside worries, removing grievances, cleansing your motives, the fire descends again. Fire does not fall on chaos, it falls on the order of surrender. When your heart is straight, I will pour out oil without limit. When your soul is true, I will make your words carry healing power. When you stop seeking glory for yourself, my glory will cover you. As I pour the oil, I also place in you wisdom to use it. There will be times I prompt you to speak and times I tell you to be silent. There will be moments I urge you to act and moments I ask you to wait. This is not hesitation, it is my training in the rhythm of the Spirit. Oil is not dumped in a rush. It flows along the gentle current of obedience. When you know my cadence, anxiety and panic will fade. You will live in a peace the world cannot grasp, and in that peace the fire burns strongest. The greatest gift that fire and oil bring is love made hot and new. I do not pour the oil to make you stronger than others, but to make you love deeper, forgive faster, and feel compassion wider. The true bearer of oil is a bearer of kindness. The world will know you are mine not by miracles alone, but by love. As John 1:3-5 says, by this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. When that love burns with the fire and the oil, it becomes a healing light. Wherever you go, the atmosphere will shift. Wherever you pray, hearts will soften. Wherever you sing, darkness will shudder. You do not need to raise your voice. You need only to be present, for I am present in you. My child, I am sending you. Not to sprint, but to step steadily. Not to pursue your own work, but to carry out mine. I am sending you into dry lands where fires have gone out, where hearts have grown cold, to breathe spiritual breath again. Do not fear their hardness. Remember, you are not sent to argue, but to shine. Light does not debate, it reveals. Do your part, and I will do mine. Wherever you tread the oil in, you will leave a trace, not in display, but in the fragrance of grace. People may not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. They will know, this one carries something holy, and that something is me. Do not fear when the fire in you makes you different. I did not call you to blend into the crowd, but to light it. Do not ask me to make the fire lighter. Ask me to make your heart stronger. The world does not need more darkness. It needs true light. And you, my child, are that light. I chose you not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Not because you are strong, but because you lean on my strength. A lamp does not light itself, neither can you burn on your own. But as long as you remain connected to my supply of oil, your light will never go out. Therefore, walk in the grace of oil and fire. Let the fire show the way, and let the oil keep it burning. Keep your heart tender and your spirit strong. Be the proof that grace is real, power still moves, and love has never gone out. As you walk, heaven will widen. As you pray, the earth will shift. As you love unseen, chains will fall away. For now you are no longer merely saved, you are anointed, entrusted, and sent to carry my glory into the places still dark. My beloved child, now your season of hiddenness has ended. I am opening the door of commissioning. that you may step into the world with a flame that cannot be quenched and oil that cannot be exhausted. This is not a sudden departure, but the fruit of careful refinement. Every tear you shed, every night you prayed in secret, every wound that seemed pointless, all of it laid the foundation for this moment. You are no longer a person of the shadows. You are one sent into the light. I do not send you to prove anything but to finish what I began. You need not strain to be perfect. I chose you in your imperfection, and I still use you as you are so that all may see that power does not come from humans but from God. My aim is not to make you famous but effective. You will no longer live for recognition, but to complete your assignment. Every step you take, every word you speak, every work you touch will bear my mark if you remain in me. You ask, Lord, how will I know I am ready, my child? You are not ready when you feel confident, but when you feel dependent. When you no longer rely on your own strength, when you ask me for each small step, when you feel insufficient yet still obey, that is the sign you are ready. I do not need the strong. I need those who will rely on my strength. Moses trembled before the burning bush, and it was that very trembling that made him a powerful instrument. For when you are weak, then my power is made perfect. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. The world you are about to enter is not a safe zone. It is a place of noise, chaos, testing, criticism, and doubt. But do not fear. I have not prepared you to avoid it, but to stand within it. Light is meaningful only in darkness. In the hardest places, the light you carry will shine the clearest. Remember, you are not sent to argue, but to be present. Each time you are present, I am present. Each time you pray, I move. Each time you love, I touch hearts. You do not need to prove that I am with you. Your very presence will prove it if you truly carry me within. I know there will be moments you feel out of place, for the world does not speak the same language. Be at peace, I will teach you the language of the soul. When you speak with truth, with mercy, with light hearts, will recognize me in you, even if they do not yet know my name. Do not turn your mission into mere religion, for I have not sent you to build systems, but to build people. I do not need you to preach everywhere, but to live genuinely everywhere. A life on fire speaks louder than 1,000 sermons. When you act in love, people will sense something greater at work within you, and that is me. When I send you, I do not send you alone. I send my angels ahead to clear the way, prepare hearts, and remove obstacles you cannot see. You need only follow my lead. As you pray over each day, I will put the right words in your mouth, as I did for Jeremiah, who once said, I am too young, I do not know how to speak. But I told him, do not say I am too young. Go to everyone I send you to, and say whatever I command. Jeremiah 1:7. So my child, do not be intimidated by circumstance, age, or ability. Your limitations are the stage for my power. As you move through the world, you will find not every place welcomes the light. Some will criticize, some will doubt, some will even attack with words or looks. Do not let your heart be wounded. Let them speak. You keep doing. Do not be drawn into needless battles. I have called you to change the atmosphere, not to react to it. When you hold your peace in the storm, you are preaching without a word. When you forgive, instead of retaliating, you are showing them to me. When you love in silence, you set heaven in motion. For the world is not conquered by force, but by love poured out through fire and oil. My dear one, as I send you, I place in you a sacred strategy, not of man, but of the Spirit. At times I will tell you to stop in your tracks to pray for a stranger. At times I will nudge you to be silent when you want to speak, or to smile when you feel like crying. This is how I guide each step, so you learn that true power comes not from calculation, but from surrender. As you let me lead, you will see doors no one could open begin to turn on their own. As you walk in faith, you will see people changed, not by argument, but by presence. Do not forget that the calling is not a burden, but an honor. I am not sending you as a lone soldier. but as one backed by heaven itself. Every whispered prayer of yours is recorded. Every tear that falls to the ground I gather and turn into showers of blessing. When you grow weary, I will uphold you. When you lose your way, I will guide you. When you feel weak, I will strengthen you. For I never assign a mission without granting the power to fulfill it. Just remember this, you do not go for me, you go with me. Always keep a humble heart. The anointing I have given you may cause others to honor you, but never let it make you forget that all glory belongs to me. When you are praised, bow your head in gratitude. When you are complimented, turn it into worship. When you see fruit, remember it is not because of your strength, but because you have abided in me. When you achieve something great, remind your soul that I chose you out of ashes, so that my glory could be revealed. For only when you remain small in your own eyes will the flame within you never be quenched. Do not fear when I open great doors. Do not tremble when I lift you before many. It is not to display your fire, but to shine light into places that have never seen it. The world is thirsty for those truly anointed people who do not merely speak of me, but carry me in every breath, and you are one of them. Step forward, child of light. Go with courage, with love, with faith. For I, the one who called you, cleansed you, and anointed you, will go with you to the ends of the earth. My beloved child, when I send you, I do not promise that you will walk on paths strewn with flowers, but I guarantee one thing: you will never fight alone. For I, your God, am the supreme strategist, the one who goes before you in every battle and surrounds your soul with fire. What you are about to face is not merely circumstantial challenge, but a spiritual war where light and darkness collide, where faith is tested, and where your heart is proven true. Remember this: every battle in your life is not meant to destroy you, but to reveal me in you. When I train you in the wilderness, it is not to make you afraid, but to teach you how to recognize my presence, even in the dark. When I allow you to walk through attacks, I am not abandoning you. I am training your spiritual eyes to see through the smoke. Just as Elisha prayed for his servant and said, "O Lord, open his eyes that he may see." 2 Kings 6:1-7. And when his eyes were opened, he saw the mountain full of horses and chariots of fire surrounding them. So it is with you, my child. You are not alone. My army encamps around you, though your eyes have not yet seen it. In this season of sending, the enemy will not stay still. He knows that the fire within you threatens his darkness, and he will try to make you doubt yourself. He will whisper that you are not strong enough, not loved enough, or that you have gone the wrong way. But remember, those words are not mine. My voice never sows fear. It plants peace. My voice does not confuse. It brings clarity. When doubt comes, do not argue with it. Stand firm in my word. Let faith be your weapon, and truth your shield. When you speak my word, darkness cannot reply, for it does not understand the language of light. My child, fighting in the light is not like fighting in the dark. The world teaches you to respond with anger. I teach you to respond with peace. The world tells you to win through argument. I teach you to win through love. The world tells you to hold tightly to your rights. I teach you to surrender in order to overcome. For true strength lies not in retaliation, but in freedom from fear. When you are no longer ruled by emotion or pressure, the enemy loses his power over you. He cannot shake a soul whose foundation is peace in me. Therefore guard your peace as your fortress. It is the place where I dwell, the realm the enemy cannot touch. When you fight, do not aim for immediate victory. Aim for endurance. The enemy trembles not because you shout, but because you do not quit. He cannot withstand the soul that continues to worship while wounded to believe, when nothing is seen to love when betrayed. Every time you rise again, you strike a fatal blow to hell itself. Every act of endurance shakes the unseen realm, for true victory is not measured by quick results, but by steadfast faith. Understand this: I am not teaching you to fight with carnal weapons, but with invisible ones: faith, prayer, and love. When you pray, you are shifting realities. When you forgive, you are breaking the chains the enemy placed on others to bind your soul. When you love, you burn down the schemes of darkness, for it has no defense against love. Love is the greatest weapon in the kingdom. As 1 Corinthians 1:3-8 says, love never fails. That word is still true for you today. Every other weapon may dull, but love will never fade. You ask, but Lord, what should I do when I am wounded in the middle of battle? My child, return to me. Do not fight in exhaustion. I do not need you to be strong all the time. I only need you to be honest. When you say, Lord, I am tired, I will renew your strength. When you say, I am afraid, I will remind you of my promise. When you sigh, I will hear that breath as prayer. I do not demand perfection from you in battle. I desire faithfulness. Faithfulness means standing when you cannot see, believing when you do not understand, and loving even when it hurts. For it is through faithfulness that victory is formed. Every spiritual battle begins and ends in a secret place. You do not win when your enemy falls. You win when you kneel before me. When you pray in silence, I act in hiddenness. When you bow in worship, I lift you in glory. When you speak forgiveness, I rewrite the outcome of the battle. That is how my kingdom fights, not loudly but powerfully, not by sword or spear, but by my spirit. Zechariah 4:6. Never forget you fight from victory, not for it. I have already won. On the cross, triumph was declared. The blood of the Lamb is an unerasable seal. The enemy now fights only with illusion, making you believe he still has power. But if you stand in truth, he disappears. When you declare my word, he must retreat. When you proclaim my God still reigns, heaven responds and hell trembles. For my word in your mouth is a double-edged sword, sharp, dividing truth from falsehood, light from darkness, life from death. Use it, my child. Speak my word. Do not merely read it, proclaim it. Do not only hear it, live in it. That is your power. I know there will be times when you are wounded. But remember, the wounds of a warrior are not marks of defeat. They are the evidence of courage. Every scar is a reminder that you did not run away. Every ache is proof that you believed. And when I look at those scars, I call them beautiful, for they tell the story of one who did not retreat, even when the darkness was thick. Do not hide them, let them shine. For others will be healed when they see that you too have bled, and yet still stand firm in my light. Carry your fire into battle, but not your bitterness. Fight with a pure heart, not to prove yourself right, but to prove that I am alive. Let your faith be the flame that lights the night. Let your love be the weapon that melts the ice within hearts, and let your discernment be the compass that guides through chaos. For you are not merely a warrior, you are a messenger. You are not called only to resist the darkness, but to illuminate it. Do not fear, for I go before you. Do not be dismayed, for I am within you. Do not retreat, for I fight on your behalf. This battle will not end in blood, but in resurrection. It will not close with tears, but with a song of triumph, for light will prevail. And you, the one sent forth in fire and oil, will see it with your own eyes. My beloved child, when you have passed through the days of refining fire, when your feet have left prints upon the desert, and your heart has learned to beat in rhythm with mine, I say to you, this is the season of victory and legacy. But victory in my kingdom is not the glory of appearance, not the applause of men, nor the praise of the world. True victory is perfect obedience, fulfilling what I have entrusted to you, even in silence. And true legacy is not a name remembered, but a light passed on. I do not measure victory by immediate results, but by the steadfastness of your heart. Many think they have won because they have achieved their goals, but in my kingdom the victor is the one who does not let darkness steal their faith. You have endured many long nights, many storms and moments when you thought I was silent, yet you still prayed. You still sang, though your voice trembled. You still believed, though tears fell. and that not miracles, not success, is true victory, for it proves that the flame within you cannot be extinguished. True victory always leads to legacy. I did not let you walk through the fire just to survive. I let you become a torch. The light within you now shines not only for yourself, but for those who follow. There are those quietly watching you, the weary, the disheartened, the ones who feel forgotten. When they see you still standing, they will believe they too can stand. When they hear you speak of me, they will know I have not abandoned them. When they see you forgive, they will realize there is a love greater than pain. And when you teach them to pray, your fire will kindle theirs. That is legacy when the flame is multiplied, not diminished. You ask me, Lord, how can I leave behind a spiritual legacy, my child? By being faithful to the end. You do not need great deeds to be remembered, only a genuine heart that loves and believes truly. Every word spoken in faith, every small act of mercy, plants a seed in another soul. And I will cause those seeds to sprout in their appointed time. You may not see the fruit in your lifetime, but your spirit will witness it in mine, for nothing done for me is ever in vain. Every step you take becomes a current, extending the river of grace. Remember, victory does not come when life is easy. It comes when you keep your heart pure amid the shadows. Some may think they have defeated you, but in truth, they have only helped move you closer to your destiny. As Joseph said to his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 5:20. So it is with you, my child. Every opposition, every wound, every closed door, I have turned into a step leading you upward. I never let pain be meaningless. It always serves a higher purpose to shape you into the one future generations can lean upon. You have entered the season of building. I will make you a teacher, a mentor, a bearer of flame. But remember this: lead with kindness, not control. Teach with heart, not criticism. For those who carry legacy do not seek to command, but to uplift. They do not use authority to dominate, but love to serve. Just as my son washed the feet of his disciples, so you must also humble yourself. True greatness is not found on thrones, but in the heart, willing to kneel. And it is when you kneel that the oil within you will flow more powerfully than ever. Your legacy will not be left only in words, but in the spiritual atmosphere you carry. Every place your foot touches will bear the imprint of my presence. When you enter a room, peace will follow. When you pray, the air will shift. When you sing, heaviness will lift. That is how I mark my own, not with titles, but with invisible influence. Others may forget your name, but they will never forget the peace they felt when you were near. That is the fragrance of my oil upon you, a scent that never fades even after you are gone. My child, I do not only want you to carry a legacy, I want you to build the foundation for the generation to come. For my glory never ends with one lifetime. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of generations. Everything I do in you is not only for you, but for those who will follow after. When you pray, you are clearing the path for the next generation. When you choose faithfulness, you are building a wall of protection around them. When you teach them to love truth, you are passing on a flame that cannot be extinguished. Look beyond yourself, my child. You are writing a chapter in the scroll of a spiritual lineage, and I, the author of the story, will bring it to completion in glory. Remember, true legacy is not forged in the spotlight, but in hidden moments with me. When you kneel, the generation after you will stand. When you weep, I am watering the seeds of their future. When you choose silence over argument, I am writing a lesson deeper than any sermon. For true wisdom is not merely spoken, it is lived. Live as the person you want the next generation to become. Love as I have loved you. Believe as you once believed in the dark. Burn as you did when my fire first touched you. That is how you leave an eternal mark. Now I give you the promise of one who has sent the oil within you will not run dry, the fire within you will not fade, and the river of grace will never cease to flow. Wherever you go and whomever you meet, I will cause the light within you to be greater than the darkness around you. And when you have finished your race and look back, you will see that everything I have done was perfect, no tears wasted, no wounds meaningless, no path mistaken. Everything has led to this moment when you finally realize that you were never living just for yourself, but for countless souls yet to come. My beloved child, the season of solitude has passed, and now comes the season of unity. I am gathering those who carry the same flame souls who have walked through fire, been crushed in isolation, and are now awakened by a shared call to build my kingdom on earth. You will no longer walk alone into battle. I am bringing to you those who beat with the same rhythm, breathe the same spirit, and hunger for the same heavenly purpose. They are not perfect, but they are pure, not loud but full of fire, not seeking glory for themselves but for me. I know you have been wounded by betrayal, cautious in relationships, and afraid that opening your heart would only bring more loss. But now I declare the time of isolation has ended. Separation was for refinement. Unity is for fulfillment. No one can accomplish my full plan alone. Even my son, when he walked the earth, chose 12 to walk beside him. Though he knew one would betray him, he still loved. He still chose, for my will is never built on fear, but on love. When I begin to gather those who share your fire, you will see they do not come by coincidence. They come as my answer to your lonely prayers. You will meet them not by strategy but by the Spirit, a conversation, a glance, a seeming coincidence, but in truth, a divine orchestration. When I want to expand your influence, I will send someone to you. When I want to lift you higher, I will send one who will pray with you. When I want to teach you something new, I will send a soul who has walked before you. For in my kingdom nothing is random, every true connection is written beforehand in the scrolls of heaven. Before I join you to others, I must ensure your heart is clean. True unity cannot spring from need, it must be born from purpose. If you seek others to fill your emptiness, you will choose wrongly. But if you seek them to carry divine purpose together, I will align them precisely into your life. These are not relationships for comfort, but spiritual alliances. They will understand your heart without long explanations. They will see your scars without judgment. They will pray when you are weak and remind you that I am still near, and you will do the same for them. This is the bond of the Spirit woven by love, not by gain. Prepare your heart to receive. I know you have grown used to independence, having learned to rely more on me than on others. That is good, but do not let it become a wall, for I am teaching you a new form of trust within an anointed fellowship. I want you to learn to share burdens, to pray together, to listen, and to build as one, for in unity the oil flows abundantly. Psalm 133 declares, "Behold how good and pleasant it is when brethren dwell together in unity. It is like the precious oil poured on the head, running down on the beard of Aaron, down upon the collar of his robe." The oil is never poured on individuals alone, it flows upon a united body. My beloved, I am teaching you that spiritual strength is not born from isolation but from communion. A single torch can light the night for a while, but an army of torches can set the darkness ablaze. When you join hands with those who carry fire, the light multiplies. The wind of my Spirit will blow, and the scattered flames will merge into one great blaze, driving back the shadows across the earth. This is the harvest season, and I am raising up a united people, not divided by name, denomination, or ego, but bound together by one call to bring my light to the ends of the earth. As the harvest begins, I will open your eyes to see that the reapers are not only you. There are others laboring quietly elsewhere in different places, yet under the same Spirit and the same call. I am weaving them into a divine network, each person a thread in a glorious tapestry. You will be amazed to see that no one is greater than another, Each simply holds a part of the design I am painting. True unity does not erase individuality. It makes all things more beautiful when blended by my spirit. Do not let the enemy steal unity through small things. He does not attack with swords and spears, but with comparison, jealousy, and misunderstanding. When you see someone else exalted, rejoice for them. When you see another being used, mightily pray even more for them. For when they win, I win. And when you humbly bless others, I will raise you up without your striving. But when you judge, gossip, or close your heart, the oil within you begins to dry. Unity is the ground upon which I pour my blessing. Division is the place where the oil stops flowing. Therefore guard your heart in purity. Do not let envy break the current of the Holy Spirit. Look around you. I am summoning those who carry the same spiritual DNA. Those who were once broken, rejected, or misunderstood, but are now restored to become an army of light. They do not need fame. They crave my presence. They do not seek power. They seek purpose. And I will help you recognize them by a simple sign: they carry my peace. When you are near them, your heart will rest. When they speak, your soul will be strengthened. When they pray, you will feel the breath of heaven. These are the teammates I have chosen for you in this season of harvest. I call you to open your arms wide. Do not fear to love again. Do not let old memories keep your heart closed. For I am placing in your hands divine connections, not to bind, but to build. Love without holding back. Trust without suspicion. Unite without fear of being hurt. For in perfect love there is no fear. 1 John 4:1-8. And in true unity there is no loss, only blessing flowing from the head down to the body. I declare that the harvest is near. The seeds you sowed in tears will be reaped in song. But this harvest is not for the solitary. It is for the company of the refined. They do not come to claim, but to share. They do not compete, but uplift. They do not seek fame, but fullness. And when such ones kneel together, heaven will open. I will pour out a blessing so abundant that no place can contain it. For I am not seeking perfect individuals, but one body that beats in rhythm with my heart. My beloved child, when I bring together those who carry the fire, the first thing I look for is not talent, but heart. For where the heart is pure, the oil flows freely. Many desire greater anointing, yet refuse to learn the art of purity. They pray for power, but neglect the discipline of unity. My child, I want you to understand, unity is not born of emotion, but of surrender. Only when you humble yourself can the oil remain. Only when you love can the flame endure. I am teaching you how to walk among the anointed without closing your spirit. You will meet others who carry grace, but each one flows differently. Some will burn hotter than you, some slower. Some may be weaker, others stronger. Do not compare honor, each rhythm in which I am working, for my spirit does not operate by formula. When you can love amid difference, rejoice in another's favor, and pray. Instead of criticize, that is when the oil within you begins to overflow. Oil does not flow in an atmosphere of competition. It flows in the air of honor and love. The enemy knows this, which is why he continually sows comparison, suspicion, and pride to divide my people. But I tell you, keep your heart soft soil, not hardened by pride, not closed by hurt, for only in humility can oil soak deep. As Paul wrote in Ephesians 4:2-3, be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. My child, unity does not happen by chance. It is protected through spiritual discipline. You ask me, Lord, how can I walk in unity with those I do not agree with? My child, you do not need to agree on everything to be united. You only need to place love above logic. Unity does not mean sameness, it means shared direction. When your aim is to please me, not to prove yourself right, conflict loses its power. In my kingdom, Victory is not for the best debater, but for the best lover. You are not called to win arguments, but to win hearts. And to win hearts, you must love with the same unconditional love that I used to embrace you, even when you were unworthy. When you stand among the anointed, you will feel strong spiritual currents. But beware, at the same time, testing will increase. Collective fire not only illuminates, it exposes. It reveals pride, hidden wounds, and unpurified motives. Do not be afraid when this happens. It is not disorder but purification, a sign that I am cleansing the atmosphere so the oil may flow more purely. Allow me to refine. Do not resist. Let the Spirit teach you when to speak and when to be silent. Keep your heart tender enough to apologize, yet strong enough to forgive. For unity is not maintained by words, but by practiced humility. Remember, when unity is preserved, the oil spreads wider. It flows beyond the group into communities, cities, and nations around you. When those carrying fire pray together, the ground trembles. When they lift my name, invisible chains shatter. When they sing in the Spirit, I descend, and the very atmosphere is renewed. Unity is not an idea. It is the foundation that allows fire to become movement. I will not keep pouring oil on isolated vessels, for the oil is not for display, it is for merging. When the streams of oil join as one, my fire ignites with unstoppable power. Yet, my child, I also warn you, even the smallest division can halt the flow. When one holds on to bitterness, the oil in them ceases to move, and the whole body feels the loss. Therefore, do not let small things ruin great things. When misunderstanding arises, resolve it quickly. When wounded, seek healing through prayer, not complaint. When you see injustice, entrust it to me, not to resentment. You are not called to correct everyone, but to protect the sacred atmosphere. That is how you keep the oil flowing. Oil cannot survive in toxic air. It requires the space of peace and truth. In the anointed community, obedience is the language of love. It is not blind submission, but harmony with the Holy Spirit. When I appoint a spiritual leader, they are not above you, but before you, to cover and to guide. Obey not because they are flawless, but because you trust that I am working through them. True submission is not the loss of power, but the release of power for the Spirit to move freely. When everyone walks in mutual submission, the oil will never be blocked. It will flow smoothly, bringing life to the whole body. Do not forget, Satan did not fall because of an obvious sin, but because of rebellion. I call you to be a guardian of unity. Watch over the atmosphere around you. When negative words arise, end them with prayer. When you see someone weak, lift them up instead of criticizing. When another is honored, rejoice rather than envy. When mistakes appear, respond with kindness instead of judgment. For you determine how swiftly the oil flows. I do not pour oil to be stored, but to spread, and oil only flows through a body that beats with one rhythm. Here is my secret unity, is the ground I choose to dwell upon, not in grand temples or dazzling programs, but in hearts that move together. When I look down and see people who love one another, honor one another, pray together, and seek no glory of their own, I say, here is where I will dwell. Then my presence does not just visit like a breeze, it remains like an atmosphere. And in that place, miracles become natural. No need for promotion, no need for striving, only love and unity. Keep your heart tender, your lips pure, and the atmosphere around you sacred. For my oil is flowing, and I want it to flow through you, not stop with you. Do not let division muddy the river. Let love purify everything again. For when my body is united, heaven and earth touch, and the harvest begins. My beloved child, when unity reaches its fullness in the Spirit, the harvest will appear naturally. No striving, no rushing for what is sown in tears will always be reaped in joy. Every quiet prayer, every painful act of forgiveness, every moment you chose love over judgment, all have become seeds. I have watered with grace, and now they are beginning to bloom. This harvest is not the reward of effort, but the manifestation of my faithfulness. I have seen your steadfastness in seasons no one noticed. I have heard your prayers in the night when the world was silent. I have watched you keep walking when others stopped, keep believing when everything fell apart. And now I declare this is the season when I pour my blessing upon you, not a random blessing, but a blessing sown by faithfulness. Do not grow weary in doing good, for in due time you will reap if you do not lose heart. Galatians 6:9. My child, this is the due time. The seeds you thought were dead are sprouting. The prayers you thought forgotten are being answered, and the tears you shed are turning into rivers of blessing flowing back to you. This harvest is not only for individuals, but for the community of those who carry fire. When I see my people loving one another, no envy, no competition, I say, the time has come. Every act of unity opens a spiritual gate. When I see you kneeling together, singing together, praying together, I breathe upon seeds long dormant in the soil and they awaken. My child, I am resurrecting dead dreams, reviving forgotten promises, restoring what was lost. I am reconnecting what was broken, mending hearts once shattered. For I do not reap by hand, I reap by my spirit. Do not be surprised if the harvest rises from places you least expect. Those you once helped will return to bless you. Works that seemed barren will bloom. Dreams that lay frozen will live again. I am the God of perfect timing. My harvest never comes early, never late. It comes when the heart is ready to carry the blessing. Many have harvested too soon and lost, all because they had no foundation. But you, my child, have walked through the furnace. You know the value of every grain of grace, and you will not let it be stolen. You have learned that the greatest treasure is not the harvest itself, but the one who gives it. When the harvest comes, remember, do not gather only for yourself. The purpose of blessing is sharing. When you are lifted, lift others with you. When you have abundance, sow more. When you have a voice, use it to strengthen the weak. For I do not bless you to contain, but to channel. When you learn to give, the flow never stops. But when you hold back, the water stagnates and grows stale. Be my river, ever moving, ever pure, ever abundant. For I declare, whoever sows generously will also reap generously. 2 Corinthians 9:6. Never forget that every harvest carries the test of glory. Many fall not in hardship, but in prosperity. When they have enough, they forget the giver. When they are praised, they forget the one who chose them. When they are blessed, they forget that blessing is meant for service. So I remind you, stay humble when I exalt you. Look back at the road you walked, the tears, the faith, the places where I was near. Never let your blessing outgrow your gratitude. Never let success overshadow your dependence on me. For that dependence is the secret that keeps your blessing alive. I am opening the gates of new fields, not for you to labor alone, but to gather with my people. Those you have never met will step into your life carrying keys to new territories. They come not to replace, but to complete. Each one carries a different tool, one with the sickle, another with the basket, one with water, another with a song. When they unite, the harvest becomes a holy symphony, each note blending in perfect harmony as I conduct. You will see that each one is needed, and when you honor every part, you will see the masterpiece I have been painting. The harvest is not merely material abundance, but spiritual awakening. Many souls will be stirred when they see the light within you. They will ask, how can you remain at peace amid chaos? How can you forgive amid betrayal? And you will answer, because I know the one who is with me. Your testimony will unlock the doors of hearts long sealed. They will not be moved by argument, but by the living reality you carry. That is the true harvest, when souls return not persuaded by reason, but transformed by love. The harvest is a time that demands wise stewardship. Do not let abundance make you complacent. Do not let blessings make you forget responsibility. Every gift of grace I give is not for consumption, but for reinvestment into my kingdom. Learn to store up during seasons of plenty, for lean seasons will come. Learn to honor those who labor beside you, for they are my co-workers. Do not think you can do it all alone. Build a system of love where all share, all care, all guard. For I have spoken, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Luke 1:02. Pray therefore that I will send more workers into the field. You cannot harvest it all by yourself. My child, I rejoice to see you have walked from fear into faith, from solitude into unity, from loss into abundance. This is the journey of one who has matured in the Spirit. But know this, the harvest is not the end, it is the beginning of a new commission. For in my kingdom, every harvest opens the door to a new sowing. I do not want you to settle in blessing. I want you to multiply it. When you win a soul, teach them to become a sower. When you help someone heal, encourage them to help another. When you are forgiven, teach others to forgive. In this way, the blessing will never stop flowing. Today I declare to you, rejoice in the harvest, but do not forget the giver. Celebrate the blessing, but do not forget to share. Walk in glory, but never forget to bow in humility. For I am the Lord of the harvest, and I am with you. The fields before you are golden, souls are waiting to be redeemed. The tears of yesterday are becoming rain blessings. And you, my beloved one, are chosen to gather what I have sown with my own hands. My beloved child, after many seasons of sowing, reaping, enduring, and uniting, you are stepping into the season of completion. It is not an ending but fulfillment, where everything once scattered in your life comes together into a divine picture. The pieces you thought were lost, the dreams you thought were broken, the promises you thought delayed. I say to you, they are now aligning to fulfill my purpose. All things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. My child, that purpose is now being revealed, not with noise and spectacle, but with the deep peace you now feel in your heart. You once believed completion meant the absence of trials or pain. But in my kingdom, completion does not mean rest. It means transition. It is the moment I close one cycle to open another higher, deeper, more divine. You have learned how to endure fire. Now you will learn how to carry it. You have learned to believe in silence. Now you will learn to speak with authority. You have learned to persevere. Now you will learn to lead. The new season does not ask you to become someone else. It calls you to become your truest self in full maturity. When I say completion, I do not speak of the end of work, but of the wholeness of spirit. Everything I taught you in the valley, in the wilderness, in the dark nights now, you will use it to guide others. I did not let your pain be wasted. It has become spiritual wisdom, a precious gem hidden within your heart. What once made you weep will now heal others when you speak of it. You once asked, Lord, why did I have to walk this path? And I answered, because only by walking through it can you lead others out. You are no longer merely one who was saved. You are one who carries redemption. My beloved, in this season I am preparing you for transference not only of responsibility but of power. There are things you have carried for a long time, lessons, wisdom, the fire of prayer, compassion, and faith, and now I call you to pass them on. Every generation I choose must transfer the flame. Moses laid hands on Joshua. Elijah cast his mantle upon Elisha. Paul taught Titus and Timothy. And you, my child, I am preparing those to whom you will pass the fire. You will not hold it for yourself. You will multiply it through the souls I send to you. Do not see this transfer as loss. See it as multiplication. When you teach, you do not lose, you expand. When you share your experience, you do not weaken, you strengthen. When you mentor others, you help them move faster. where you once walked slowly. And when they soar higher, you are not diminished, you are glorified with me, for you have fulfilled your purpose. This is the season I call you to become a spiritual father, a spiritual mother, not by age but by maturity. You will help others avoid the pitfalls you once knew. You will teach them to hear my voice, to walk in discernment, and to keep their hearts pure amid the world. To pass the flame, you must keep your heart light. Do not let memories, titles, or fears bind you. What I gave you in the last season was for preparation, but when the season shifts, I change the method. Be ready for me to take some things from your hand, not because they were wrong, but because I am giving you something greater. Just as Abraham left Ur to enter Canaan, you too must be willing to leave the familiar to enter the new. This season, I am not calling you to walk by sight, but by obedience. For completion is always unlocked by one simple act: to believe and to step forward. Completion is not for you alone. It is for those who are touched by your life. When you complete your part, others will be freed. When you are healed, others will flow again. When you forgive, generational curses break. Every step you take forward opens doors for many souls behind you. Do not think small of your influence. Everything I do in you carries generational weight. Remember Moses, he did not only deliver Israel, he opened the way for a nation of worshipers. David did not only defeat Goliath, he ushered in an era of true worship. And you, my child, I will do the same. You are opening the door for a generation of awakening. In this season of completion, I am also realigning your priorities. You will find yourself needing less to prove less, to argue less, to be understood, because you are now settled in my name. You will no longer need applause to feel valued, for you know that my smile is enough. You will no longer seek recognition, for you have learned that true validation comes only from heaven. You will find peace in the very places that once stirred anxiety. That is the mark of maturity, silence clothed in authority. Like Jesus before Pilate, you will not need to defend yourself, for you will know that sometimes even silence is victory. I am making you into a new vessel. You will no longer be one who is poured into, but one through whom I pour out. You will see the younger come to you for counsel, the weary come to you for prayer, and the burdened come to rest in the presence you carry. Do not fear this responsibility. I never entrust you with what you cannot bear. I will give you gentleness within authority, wisdom within silence, and compassion within discipline. For a true leader does not need power, only a heart. When the season of completion arrives, lift your eyes to me, not around you. Those who walked with you in the last season may not walk with you in the next, and that is no one's fault. I am simply rearranging pieces on my board. Each has their season. Let them go when the time comes. Their departure makes room for those I am sending anew. Do not cling to what I am removing, for if your hands are full, you cannot receive what is next. Trust that I am orchestrating all things with perfect wisdom. My child, you have been faithful with little. Now I will entrust you with much. You have kept your heart pure in trial. Now I will place you among the influences. You have endured in silence. Now your voice will resound. The season of completion is not an ending, but the moment I proclaim, everything is ready. You have walked through fire. Now you will become fire. You have faced the wind. Now you will become my breath to the world. And as you step into the new season, you will see that nothing in your journey was wasted. Every tear, every wound, every prayer has shaped the strongest, most radiant version of who you are in me. My beloved child, when a season is fulfilled, I do not let the flame die, I pass it on. For in my kingdom nothing perishes, only transforms. Everyone I use is a torch. When their term draws near, I use their fire to ignite another. Just as Elijah passed his mantle to Elisha, as Moses laid hands on Joshua, and as David prepared Solomon, you too are called to impart what I have placed within you. not because your time is ending, but because I am expanding your influence through others. I know you sometimes fear the thought of passing things on, afraid that when you give, you'll be forgotten, that when you make room, you'll be replaced. But remember, in my kingdom, to give away is to multiply. When you pass the flame, your fire does not shrink, it shines brighter. When you share the vision, it does not narrow, it widens. When you teach others, you are not forgotten, you become part of an eternal story. Transfer is not a human action, it is heaven's strategy. I never let my work depend on one person. I build through generations. Each carries a piece of the grand design. Moses led the people out of Egypt, but Joshua brought them into the promise. David fought for peace, but Solomon built the temple. John prepared the way, but Jesus was the way. No one completes it all. Each fulfills their part. And you, my child, you have completed yours with faithfulness. Now I ask you to help others complete theirs. To pass the fire, you must see with the eyes of the Father. I do not view the next generation with suspicion, but with hope. They may be clumsy, immature, undisciplined, yet their hunger is real. They are searching for those who can guide without judging, love without controlling. And I have chosen you for that, to be a spiritual father, a spiritual mother in this era of transition. You will teach not only with words, but with life. They will watch how you worship, how you hold your peace, how you respond with humility, and they will learn more from what you live than from what you say. My child, I am sending you the young, some with zeal unrefined, some with wounds unhealed, some with gifts they do not yet understand. Be patient with them, as I was patient with you. Remember your early days when you stumbled learning to hear my voice, when you feared mistakes, when all you could do was cry and pray. Do not demand perfection. Help them grow through love, not pressure. When they fall, do not scold. Reach down. When they lag, do not lose heart. Wait. When I use them mightily, do not fear. Rejoice. For a true father rejoices when his children surpass him. My beloved, I know some you once taught have disappointed you. Some you trusted proved unfaithful. Some you gave opportunities turned away. But do not let those wounds harden your heart. Betrayal cannot stop my plan. Judas could not prevent Jesus from fulfilling the cross. The unfaithful cannot halt my faithfulness. I will send you new ones, sincere, grateful, hungry souls. Through them your old wounds will heal. For in every passing of fire I not only anoint the next generation, I renew the hearts of the one before. Do not keep the flame hidden. Do not fear to share the vision. Teach them to hear my voice, to walk with the Spirit, to discern between true and false. Teach them the discipline of prayer, the power of stillness, the purity of heart. But above all, teach them that love is the foundation of all power. If they prophesy without love, their words are noise. If they perform miracles without love, they are chasing glory, not grace. Etch this upon their hearts. Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 1:3-8. For love is the oil that keeps the flame alive. In this transfer I will also expand your spiritual territory. The prayers you once whispered will bear fruit in places you have never seen. You will hear reports of lives touched by words you spoke, messages you shared, prayers you once wept in secret. That will be the sign that the fire is spreading. And know this, the flame no longer belongs to one person but to a generation. You are the beginning point, and I, the one who began it, will perfect it through many others. When you pass the flame, I do not want you to teach them only what to do, but to reveal who I am. Show them that I am not only powerful but personal, not only the giver of blessings but the lover of souls. Teach them that prayer is not ritual but breath, that faith is not a formula but a relationship, that worship is not song but lifestyle. Show them through your life that intimacy with me is greater than any success. For the truest inheritance you can give is not your wisdom but your walk with me. My child, when you pass on the flame, remember, never try to create replicas of yourself. Every person I call carries a unique expression of my image. Let them be different from you. Let me reveal myself through them in new ways. You are not called to make a second you, but to teach them to become the first version of themselves in me. If they do things differently, do not worry. I am writing another chapter of the same story. They will carry your flame, yet breathe it in the direction I have designed for them. Rejoice when you see the creativity of the Spirit expressed in many forms. For unity does not mean uniformity, it is harmony in the one. When the flame is past, I will perform a wonder, I will unite generations. The old and the young will pray together. The wise and the newly believing will worship side by side. Competition will give way to honor, judgment will give way to compassion. Then a new generation of the anointed will arise, not merely speaking about me, but living like me. They will heal with love, fight through prayer, and conquer by faith. And you will see it with your own eyes. You will witness what you once sowed in silence being reaped in glory. Do not fear when I move the torch from your hand to another. Rejoice, for the flame will burn brighter than ever before. You have finished your part, and now you open the chapter of many others. Look, your generation is becoming the bridge to a new wave of awakening. My child, I am with you in every word you speak, in every person you teach, in every hand you lay in prayer. And when you see the fire spreading, know this: it is I, the one, continuing my work through you and through those you have touched. My beloved, as you stand at the intersection of past and future, pause not to look back with regret, but to see me in every step you have taken. Every wound, every loss, every prayer, every tear bears my fingerprints. Nothing was overlooked. No moment was wasted. You have passed through fire, and now you shine like refined gold. You have endured trial, and now you carry the glory of perseverance. I did not merely rescue you from the storm. I turned the storm itself into the vessel that carried you toward your destiny. You thought the wind would sink you, but it was only propelling you toward the purpose I ordained. Now I declare the season of glory has begun. Not human glory, but mine revealed through you, a glory that needs no spotlight, no title, yet leaves the fragrance of heaven wherever you go. What I once promised is taking form. The words you once wrote in tears are now blooming like flowers. The doors you once knocked on in desperation are now opening by themselves. Those who once doubted are seeing the light in you. They do not know what it cost you. They only see the fruit. But I see the journey, and I rejoice, because you did not give up. You chose me over ambition, prayer over complaint, faith over bitterness. And now I say to you, you are walking in the reward of faithfulness. Do not forget, the true reward is not wealth or fame, but peace that no one can take away. When you sleep, your heart is at rest. When you work, your spirit is steady. When misunderstood, you do not defend yourself, because you know I see. When forgotten, you do not despair, because you know I remember. When betrayed, you do not retaliate, because you know I am just. That is true freedom, when you are no longer bound by emotions or opinions, but anchored in me. And that freedom is the greatest glory a soul can carry. This glory is not meant to be hidden, but to shine forth. I now call you to rise as a lamp set on a hill, not to display yourself, but to guide. Not to be seen, but to point to the source. When others see your peace in the storm, they will ask, "What is your secret?" And you will answer, "It is not I, but the one who lives in me." When they ask how you can love those who hurt you, you will say, "Because I was loved first." When they ask how you can still believe when everything collapses, you will say, "Because my God never breaks his promise." Thus your life becomes a living sermon, not of words, but of fire. I give you this promise: the glory will not only rest on you, but dwell within you. No longer moments of visitation, but a continual habitation. You will no longer wait to hear my voice, for I will speak in the rhythm of your heartbeat. You will no longer seek my presence in distant places, for you will carry it in every breath. The union between you and me will be as natural as breath and life. You will walk, and I will walk with you. You will speak, and I will echo through your words. You will touch, and I will heal through your hands. For I am no longer far, I am within you. Look up, for the new season is opening. A wave of awakening is rising across the earth. Sleeping souls will be stirred. Hardened hearts will soften. Those who fled the light will begin to seek it. And I will use those like you, those who have walked through darkness, to guide those finding their way home. You will not have to search for them. I will bring them to you. You will not need to prove yourself. I will confirm you through signs, through power, and through love. For I have placed my name upon you, and that name will shake the darkness. Do not fear the greatness of what I am about to do. I do not seek the perfect. I seek the willing. I do not need your strength. I need your sincerity. For in weakness I am glorified. In your limits my power is revealed. Remember, you are not the light. You are the mirror that reflects it. Stay clear, and I will shine. Stay soft, and I will fill you. Stay small, and I will be magnified through you. For in my kingdom the lowly are lifted, the servants are exalted, and the humble are blessed. The time of silence is over. I am breathing into your voice. The words you speak will carry power, not because they are eloquent, but because they are saturated with my presence. When you speak of hope, darkness will retreat. When you sing, invisible chains will fall. When you pray, the atmosphere will shift. You will become a carrier of heaven's climate wherever you go, not by effort, but by essence. For you are now one with me. And my child, remember this, above all, true glory is not the light that shines from you, but the light that shines through you. My goal has never been to make you famous, but to make myself known through you. When others praise you, give the glory to me. When they admire your work, point to the source. When they call you blessed, tell them that every blessing comes from the Lord your God. For as long as I am exalted, my glory will remain upon you. Now I say to you, step forward, for the new season has come. No more fear, no more darkness, no more chains, only light, freedom, and love. Let me lead you through new fields where thirsty souls await my touch. Let the fire within you ignite the cold places. Let your words become living water to refresh dry hearts. For I have chosen you not to keep the fire, but to spread it. Lift your eyes, for my glory covers you like a robe. Walk boldly, for my angels have gone before you to prepare the way. Rejoice, for every promise I have made is coming to pass. You have finished the race, you have kept the faith, and now the crown of life is prepared for you, not for you alone, but for all who love my appearance. And I say, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Thank you for listening to this message. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so together we may continue to receive the living word of grow in steadfast faith and walk in the boundless love of Christ. Amen.